Okay, so I just want to start, before I start on the slides, I'll tell you a little bit about myself in a moment. But in terms of events and event industry, what we're here for, the reason that we come to events is, I think the reason we come from events is we're looking for change. The whole essence of an event is to move people from one state to another, okay? So that, for me, is the essence of any good event. Now, in terms of your marketing, my thoughts, my suggestions is you look at your mindset, look at your events, and think clearly about how you can get your audience or prospective clients to move from one state to another. That's what we're looking to do, okay? And what we need we need energy and we need mindset, okay? So has anybody worked worked for an exhibition or a conference where there's been no energy, where there's been no leader, there's been no direction? Has anybody here had that experience? Does anybody here work with a conference or an exhibition that's a bit tired and a bit past its sell-by date? No? Nobody at all? Every exhibition, every conference is 100%? Okay, all right. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Okay, I started my own agency in 1992. I won and executed over 2,000 corporate events, corporate and public events. My largest budget was over 2 million, and the largest audience I've been involved with is over 10,000 people. So I want to give you some ideas. I want you to think more clearly about why you're doing your events, and I hope that will affect how you think about your marketing. And also I'm going to run through a couple of mechanics here, which I hope that might be useful for you to take away to the office, and you might think, okay, we'll try that. All right, so the marketing C. So marketing is a massive subject. It's a huge, huge subject. So the marketing C is vast. It's wide and it's deep. And there's so many different things that you can do. And it's about doing a few things right that are going to make the difference between your event being a success and attracting the right kind of sponsors and attracting the right audience. It's going to be doing a few things right. Now, there are many different types of specialists in the event and marketing industry, okay? You have your deep sea divers, you have your fishermen, you have your oceanographers, your scientists. You'll have those in the marketing world who are very granular. They will take everything down to the very, very smallest thing, because we can measure everything these days, can't we? Can we measure everything going on in an event? We can measure people's behavior, change of behavior. We can measure, yes, we can measure clicks, we can measure whether people come to our show, we can measure how many inquiries, but we can do a training event and we can actually measure how much of that training has impacted on people and taken them forward and improved their working lives. So in terms of the C and the specialists involved in marketing, it's a very, very deep pool. But I want to talk here to those of you who are event planners and event marketers. Does anybody here share a job where they're actually marketing their event and actually organising their event? Okay? Yeah, it's easy, isn't it? Yeah. How much time have you got in a day? 36 hours? Okay. So even if you work for the large corporates, anybody here work for large corporates or a big brand? Yeah? Okay. They don't always have the budget or the time or the resources, do they, that you should have to execute what you need to do. So it's a tough job. So you can only do the simple things, the correct things, first and foremost. And that's what I want to put into you today. Just in terms of doing a few simple things right, and you will have an impact. Because that's what we want to do, have an impact on our events. Okay, so like any good sailor or any good fisherman, we're going to set the destination. Let's think about where we're going to go, how we're going to get there, how we're going to get back. And we've got to have a consistent effort. And why I'm saying these things, it's fairly simple, isn't it? These are the rudiments. Of course we need a destination. Of course we need somewhere to go. Of course we need a goal to aim for. Of course we need to be consistent and powerful and make sure we put the energy into things. Unfortunately, what happens? What happens in our daily lives, in our working lives, especially when we're juggling 2 or 3 different roles? Yeah? We come off the rails, don't we? Because we're not sticking to a path and a process. That's why our jobs are so difficult. Okay, so we've got to correctly bait the targets, the fish that we're looking for. We've got to put the right kind of bait on our hook. So I will come away from fishing in a moment, don't worry too much. We've got to bait the hook to get our delegates to come along, to get our sponsors to come along to our event. It's very important that we think that through. Because I think what happens with a lot of events, who here does an annual event, the same event every year? Every year, the kick-off meeting, yeah, the Christmas party, the conference, the exhibition, it's the same thing every year. How easy is it to reinvent the wheel? It's very difficult, very, very difficult. However, what I urge you to do when you go back to your office, if you take anything from this today, is you sit down with your team, or normally the team being one, okay? Sit down with yourself and have a really good talk with yourself and say, why are we doing this event? Is this event the right kind of event? Are we aiming at the right demographic? Are we baiting our hook? Are we encouraging the right kind of people? So those are the things I really want you to think about, the mindset. Okay, so there's different types of seas. This is my last ocean metaphor, now you'll be pleased to hear. So has anybody heard of these different types of seas? The blue sea, the red sea, and the purple sea. Anybody here heard that metaphor before? No. Okay. So when you're thinking about your marketing, if you're in a clear blue sea, when we talk about a sea being different colours, a blue sea is a fresh sea. It's a sea that's completely clean. Okay. Now the analogy here, and I'm sorry if you're a bit squeamish, is a red sea is a sea that's full of blood from the prey. Now, with a blue sea, when we go into a blue market, it's a brand new marketplace, okay? And there aren't many of those around. Who here works in a brand new industry, in a brand new marketplace? Yeah, nobody. Yeah, well, sorry, this gentleman here does it. Yeah, no, beg your pardon. So, in those blue seas, how easy is it to get clients when there's no competition? How easy is it to get clients when there's nobody else out there apart from you? And you've got your nets out and you're scooping out fish left, right, and centre. Is that an easy way to live? That's easy street. But then we have a red sea. Because what happens? When I started in the event industry in 1992, there was a recession on. Wow, what a shock horror. Every 7 years, another recession, believe me, okay? There's always another one coming. So in 1992, I started in the event industry. And it was the industry was not very well known. And it was a feast for people like myself who got involved. There weren't so many people. A lot of people had got knocked out in the recession. And so it was pretty much a blue sea. But as the years rolled by, and I got involved with many different marketplaces, including the Christmas marketplace, and those seas became flooded with other sharks who came in stealing my fish, okay? So those seas became bloodied. So I want you to think about your area that you're working in. What's your niche? What are you selling to people? What are you presenting to people? So these seas, when we go into marketplaces that are very, very well known, it's incredibly difficult to find out or find a way to encourage people to come to our offering, okay? And then we come to the purple seas. Now the purple seas are where we take something that's a product or a service and we move it on a step. Who here uses washing powder? Washing powder, yeah? Who loves whatever brand, let's say Daz Extra White. Daz Extra White, Persil Extra White. Now we've got Persil in tablets, yeah? It's the same thing, but brilliant marketing. Okay, so they've moved from they've started in the 20s and 30s and 40s in the blue sea. It's become mixed. It's now the Red Sea, and everybody's got, everybody has washing machines, wants to wash their clothes with washing up powder. So now you've got to change your product and change your offering. And so what you do is you then offer the new best thing. And the new best thing is the better and whiter DAS, okay? So look at iPhones. When the iPhones came out, it was a great transition. There were millions of phones. We're all using flip phones. There were millions of phones. But then along came Steve Jobs with that great vision, and he moved his industry and not his industry, his company, in fact the whole industry followed him, from a red sea to a purple sea. I just want you to think and consider about that kind of mentality about your offering, about your services, about your event. Because when you go back to the office, let's rethink about, why are we doing this? Are we in the right place? Okay, planning for failure. This is all simple Simon stuff. Over the last 5 years, I've become a trainer and a speaker. I've been in the event industry many, many years. And what I find time and again is when people come up to me after my speeches or after my coaching and say to me, Kevin, you talk about planning, you talk about writing things down. And do you know what? We don't do that in my office. We haven't got time. We're so busy. We're not even doing that. So what I want you to think about today for marketing is you've got to have a plan, okay? You've got to have a schedule. And you remember I said at the beginning about how busy our lives get, yeah? We've got to have a schedule. You've got to have a written down schedule or a schedule on your notebook or whatever it may be of when you're going to start delivering your posts, when you're going to start delivering your social media, when you're going to start delivering your guerrilla marketing or whatever it may be. And you've got to stick to it because people don't stick to it. People move away. They forget to do the post because a lot of the time they haven't got an entire marketing company or an entire marketing department just working on that one event. So what I would urge you to do is make sure you've got a schedule. Who here has a schedule and a diary of everything they do for their marketing, honestly? Okay, let's start with that. Let's look at a schedule. It can be on a piece of paper. There's many, many apps out there that can help you write your schedule. You've got to diarise everything you're going to do because if you want to catch the fish, if you want to be the winner, you've got to do it consistently and you've got to have energy every time. So you've got to have your own direction. We're going to come on to that. Okay, if you have a lack of time or you don't have the resources in your company, whether you're BP or whether you're a small little micro company, that's fine, that happens. But you've got to make sure you're focusing on a few simple things. You can't do everything. Don't get involved with doing a bit of everything. It's not going to work. What you've got to do is focus on one or two specific things and make that your absolute goal. Okay, so if you feel you don't have the skill set or if you don't understand certain parts of it, because we can't all understand every piece of social media, every new software that comes out, we haven't always got the time to learn them, then look to get a specialist in. See if you can find some resources, i.e. some more budget from your company. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. So you can go to organisations by People by the Hour and Upwork, okay? People by the Hour and Upwork. And you can buy in people with great abilities. And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money to get somebody doing these things for you on a weekly basis. So I would suggest that you do that. Okay, donuts. Okay, good. Time for a rethink. Is your event that you're doing every 3 months, every year, is it out of date? Think, because if you're trying to sell your product, your marketing, and it's completely out of focus, you're going to struggle to get that across to your audience. So think about this. Like I say, go back to your offices and think about your event. Does this event, is it fit for purpose anymore? Is it really fit for purpose? Does it need a rebrand? The times I've seen websites or companies or brands or whatever they're doing, and their website is old and tired. Yes, it works. Yes, it's congruent. Yes, the font's open. You know, the time and again. But is it easy to use? Okay. And the point I'm going to come on to in a minute, I want to say it now, is the user experience, UX. Are we aware of what UX is in website stuff? Yeah. We want it to be so simple and straightforward. We don't want to have to struggle. I've been working for a company recently. They're in the pharma industry. They're associated with the pharma industry. Their conference has died. They're an association, a very niche association. You'd think they'd be doing fantastically well. It's died. It's died on its feet. One of the reasons is I couldn't even find the price of the ticket on the website. I mean, how frustrating is that? Who here likes to go to events? Yeah? Who here likes to know how much it costs? Yeah, okay. Couldn't even find the price on the website. Oh, Sally does the website. Sally should be bloody shot. Get rid of bloody Sally. Pay somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. And it happens. And this is an association. They're making tens of millions. They're in Geneva. Real money. They don't need this. What's your story? Okay, I'm running out of time. So what's your story? I want you to think about this, okay? Have a story. Because life is a story. The people you meet, we have different stories with. We have different communication with. Okay, so what is your story? What's the story of your event? I don't care if you're selling sand, all right, or bricks, or whatever you find, or mud, or whatever you find the most uninspiring thing. Have a story, because I tell you what, once you start to tell people about your story, about that mud, and about those bricks, and about those sand, and where it comes from, and how it happened, and how we start, people come along with you. They come along with you. So rethink yourself. People love a story. A good story. Think about it. And you can make it up. Okay. All right, so we've spoken about website UX. Sorry, I'm running a bit behind time. Review your target audience. Now, your event, is it fit for purpose? But when we look at return on investment, one of the first things we're looking at, if we haven't got the right audience in front of us, we are stuck. We've got to think, who is our target? How are we really marketing to the right people? Because if we're not doing that, if we're not marketing to the right people, it's not going to happen for us. Or we're going to get along a lot of tire kickers. We don't want people like that. We want people who want to be at our event, and we've got to do everything we can. So think, are we actually measuring, are we actually targeting the right audience? Okay, so just briefly, so time's running out for me. In terms of who is that audience, who is that sponsor, who is that person we're looking for? Who are we aiming for? And I think this is a great idea. Well, I'll say it's a great idea. We've got the, I believe it's the Conservative Party who have gone for their target audience, okay? Workington man. Has anybody seen that on the news? They're looking to target Workington man. So, supposedly northern men of a certain age, probably my age actually. Okay, so now listen, the Conservative Party, we're talking about real power. This is beyond money and brand and selling things. This is real power, okay? And they've actually come up with an avatar. And they've made up some pictures, and this is apparently who they're looking for. So what I want you to think about is, who is your audience? And get a picture, get a load of pictures, and put them on your mood panel on your monitor, and think about, I want you to have that vision in your head. Who am I looking for? What's my story? Where am I going with this? Where's this event going? Where's the energy? Who do I really want at my event? Who are the clients I want? Look at your top 50 people in the industries you want to attract. Okay, your competitors. Has your event become too big for its britches? Is anybody involved with an event that started out being quite specific, and then they've made it, it's become successful, made it broader, and they've made it broader, and they've made it bigger and bigger and bigger? Okay? Those kind of events can be fantastic. They can be all-consuming. I think this is coming up next. It can be all-consuming. However, what will happen is smaller niche fish will come in. They'll move to a purple sea, and they'll take some of your audience with them. And this has actually happened to the pharma company I'm working with at the moment. Is that they've got actually got a fairly niche offering, but they've stayed stuck in their own ways. They're out of date. This company. They're run by a committee of very successful academics, doctors, lawyers, very well educated people. Anybody here ever worked with a committee? Anybody love that experience? Bloody murder. So they're terrible to deal with. They're nice people individually, but getting them to change is very difficult. And what's happened is that the younger kids on the block have come next door to their event, and they've started to cover their offering in their event. And they're younger, trendier, more interesting, more fun. And even if it's in the academic world, people want to have fun, and this event is losing business. So has your event become too big for its bridges? Think about narrowing it down. Think about cutting away some slack. like we would do in sales. Once we start to become more successful, we cut out the bottom 20% of our customers and clients. So look, thanks very much. Thanks for helping us build us up. But I think you should be working with a smaller company now. Become a category king. Has anybody heard that term before? No, there's a guy called Russell Brunson from a firm called ClickFunnels who are a landing page specialist, okay? They've taken their company from something like, I don't know, 0 in the last 8 years to a couple of 100 million a year, okay? Crazy, crazy stuff. So he talks about being a category king. And what happened with the offering they had of these landing pages, they started to add on to it an email system, an auto router. They started to add on this and add on that. And in the end, he actually realized that his business was becoming too unwieldy, and your conference or your exhibition may be doing that. So to bring it back down. So become a category king or queen, okay? So think about being the best at what your industry is. Okay, and let's research our competitors, okay? Make sure that it's very important that we keep looking about who's out there, okay? Because otherwise, those other fishermen are going to be taking all of our fish, okay? Last thing, I just want to show you, sorry, you've got the Q&A coming up, but I just want to talk to you, last couple of things is survey your attendees, your delegates, okay? And look at your pricing. Now, some people just price themselves out of the marketplace. So look at your pricing. Okay, I just want to quickly show you this, and then I've got to move on to the Q&A. This is a great way to check up on your competition. And you can look at all these things on companies like this. So you can get all this information from companies like SimilarWeb. All these details about where your opposition are going, where your competitors are going, where they're advertising, what advertising they're doing, where they're getting their organic searches from, their paid searches, where's their social media working. So look up these companies. They're on the slides here. I do apologise. I've run over time. But these are the companies here. If you're looking at your competition, which I suggest you do, look up these websites. And look at the data. For those of you who love the granular stuff, yeah? If you've got anything at all, you haven't heard of these companies, get on there. Because you can go down, you can find out all of their backlinks, how they advertise. You can see their paid advertising. Actually, they're actual adverts, okay? All right, guys, I'm sorry I've run out of time and I was late. I do apologise. Is there any questions from the audience, from you guys? Anything I can help you with?
Yeah, we just have one question, which we'll pull up on screen, and it's, do you have any recommendations for an event planning / schedule template?
Not on me. I can send you something. I've got a lot of different things that I can send you. There's apps out there. I prefer paper ones, so I have got some paper ones. If you want to see me afterwards, then I'm very happy to take your details and I'll send you that link.
Yeah, that's all we have time for. I guess if anyone has questions, they can approach.
All right, thank you very, very much, guys. I did have more to say, but time's short.
Okay, thank you, Kevin.